you're someone on PERS Plan 2, you might be considering moving from Plan 2 over to Plan 3. In fact, you might have got a letter in the mail saying that you're eligible to do this and they're going to pay you this big lump sum of money. So is this something you should really do? Now, if you're eligible for this, you have to be hired and on PERS Plan 2 prior to March 1st of 2001 if you're working for the state or higher education. And you have to be hired before September 1st, 2001 if you're work for the local government in order for this to even be an option. If you're hired after those dates, this isn't an option for you to make the switch. Now, for anyone that considering this, here's what I want you to really think about. Why is DRS making this offer to me? Is this really in my best interest to give up my pension plan or half of it in order for half the amount of guaranteed income and then have money invested in the market? Do I really think it's going to work out for the better? Now, without fail, throughout my career, and people that have known people that have done this have 100% of the time have regretted the decision. They all wish they could go back to Plan 2 after making the move. However, remember that this move, if you decide to do it, is permanent. You can't go back. Now, if this really was in your best interest, why would the state not let you go back? The fact is it actually benefits them if you do it. Now, why? Because you're cutting their pension liability in half for you. Keep this in mind. Plan 2, right? You get 2% for every year you work based on your top 5 years, right? So keep math easy. You had $100,000 salary. That was your top 5 years. You did 30 years in the system. That gives you 60% of the $100,000. That's $60,000 per year. Now, when you decide, hey, I'm going to go to Plan 3, you only get 1% per year. So now instead of getting $60,000 per year, you only get 30. The state just got off the hook with paying you $30,000 less per year on a guaranteed basis. Now, over 30 years, plus the cost of adjustments, that's going to be well over $1 million they just save by you making that move. Now, the money that they give you, all it is your contributions you've already paid into the system, plus the interest they already accrued in the account, right? So they're not giving you any extra money here. This is all your money plus interest they actually earned this whole time, right? They're essentially cashing out of Plan 2 to go into Plan 3. That's all that is here. They're not being the nice guys. They're really saving themselves a lot of money in the long run. Now, if you make this move, you're going to get a lump sum of money. It's going to get invested. When we invest money, we have to pay fees for them to manage it. Washington State charges administration fees inside of Plan 3. So essentially, depending on the way you invest it, for every $300,000 you have saved, it's about $1,000 a year in fees. It's money that comes off the account automatically. In fact, most people don't even know it exists. They just deduct it from you. So that's how the state actually makes money from people like this. And remember that because Washington State is a non-ERISA plan, they don't have to abide by the same rules as other big 401k companies, which means they can legally charge you more money for the same investment lineup that you would get at Vanguard or anywhere else. So Washington State investment, the target date funds that people default into, you actually pay 3 to 4 times more in fees than you would if your money was at Vanguard. Now, with all this in mind, is it possible for you to make this move and still come out ahead? Well, it is, but in order to do so, you would have to first have really good market performance and keep on saving more than you were before in order for this to work out. So remember that the whole point of the pension and retirement in general is to replace our income, right? The only thing stopping you from retiring today versus in the future is you need the income. So as you have the income, problem solved, we can retire. All the investments that we're trying to save has one objective, and that is to try to help replace our income and cover future expenses. So when we look at how much money do I need to replace the pension I gave up, right? So in the early example, I said 60,000 Plan 2, you only get 30,000 on Plan 3. How much do I need to make up that $30,000 difference? So the math on that, if you look, if you say, hey, I'm going to take 4% of my account per year, right? That's what they say the safe number is in a lot of articles. So if you said, hey, 30,000 divided by 4%, I would need about $750,000 to make that work. If I said, hey, I'm going to take 5% instead of 4%, it's about $600,000. So that's how much money you need just to get the same $30,000 that you would have got if you stayed on Plan 2. Now think about how much risk you're going to have to take on, how much more money you're going to have to put away in order to hit that number, right? Oftentimes it's a lot more. Most people on Plan 3 have to hit 15% to even hit that, right? So that's money you need just to break even, right? Just to get the $30,000. Anything above and beyond that, then you may become out ahead. But remember that you still have market fluctuations, right? So you have 750 one year, it could be 700 the next year, it could be 800. So it's going to constantly go up and down. If we go into a recession, like we're going into in 2023, as the market keeps going down, we either have to reduce our income, which nobody ever does, or you're going to take the same amount of income, and then it's going to have a higher withdrawal rate than you initially planned. If that sustains for a few years, you might overdraw your account. It's going to be harder and harder for you to bounce back from. Of course, if you have the right strategy in place, this can be done. But for many people, if they don't have the proper strategy in place, this is a real risk of running out of money, because if you make this move, remember, there's no safety and security on plan 3. And if you're like most people, you don't like your income depending on market fluctuations. You don't like getting a pay cut because the S&P 500 decided to take a dip one month, right? So this is the same principle when you apply to retirement. If you want the safety and secure retirement, that's what plan 2 offers. That's what annuities provide. That's not what the investment market is for. One other thing you could consider doing, for people on PERS 3, you have the option to buy the TAP annuity. So the TAP annuity can only be bought with PERS 3 funds. You can't use a DCP, you can't use the 403B or 401k, cash, whatever it is, you can't use it. PERS 3 funds only. So if you're thinking, hey, I'm going to make it up with buying a PERS 3 annuity because they're one of the highest paying annuity plans out there, potentially could. So if you look at the numbers, and this is as of December of 2022, the TAP annuity for PERS 3 pays about 6.25%. Right. So for every $100,000 I put into it, I can get about $6,200 out. Right. So in order for me to make up the $30,000 I gave up, in this case, I need $480,000 just to break even. If I wait till 65, because I'm older, I get a higher payout. The payout increases about 6.67%. You need about $450,000. Those numbers definitely doable depending on how much you save and what markets do inside of plan 3. Those are numbers that you just be writing a check for to give up. Now, the chances are if you're moving from plan 2 to plan 3, it's because you were convinced that more money means more income, or you thought investments were going to go through the roof and you have a lot more money in the long run, or you want more control of your money. A lot of reasons for it. Now, to turn around, write a giant check like that, just get back to the state, is not what you really plan to do initially. So if you're thinking that's the way to go, you're probably better off just staying in plan 2 to begin with. So depending on how markets work, it could work. But remember that we have interest rate risk, right? Interest rates are high right now. That's where the annuity is paying more. Interest rates change in the future. You might not have the same kind of benefit that they're looking at right now. You also have to think about investment performance. If investments don't work out quite right, you might not hit the numbers you need. And of course, you have to be making sure you're saving enough. So you have to increase what you're saving what you were before to these numbers. And then you have to stay set in your investment plan. You can't get emotional, caught up in the headlines and make changes, go to cash, whatever it is, because you get scared. One move like that could completely derail this whole plan of going from 2 to 3, buying the TAP and coming out ahead. Now, remember, if you are on plan 2 and you decide to stay there, that does not mean you can't save anything more. The state offers DCP plans for you guys. So you can still fund money into an account on a tax efficient basis to help fund your future retirement. Starting in December 2023, they're going to make Roth DCPs available for everybody. That's going to give you the ability to save on a tax-free basis for your retirement. And for many state employees, they actually come out ahead by doing that. Remember, most of the thought process of when I retire, I make less, therefore I'll be in a lower tax bracket, doesn't hold true with state employees, because you have Social Security in Washington State. You also have a pension plan. Your income isn't going to change all that much. Yes, it's going to go down in most cases, but oftentimes not enough to change multiple tax brackets to make pre-tax savings come out ahead for most people. Not always, most of the time, right? If you need help with deciding, if this is the right move for you or not, the link in the description below is to get on our calendar. We can help you make this determination. One thing I want to point out, if you're going to go consult DRS about this, they're not licensed for advice. They're probably going to not give you what you want. If you go find an advisor and get advice, remember that it may not always be in your best interest. The state pension system is complicated. Many people that work with state employees or claim to don't truly understand the intricacies of your plans and the efficiency of your annuity options. And usually they're trying to either sell a product and make a commission or get you to move money to them so they can charge you a fee for it. In which case they may say, hey, go from plan 2 to plan 3 to get this money, in hopes that in the future you're going to think of them, buy a product from them, or put money with them so they can charge you a fee to manage. So that's just something to think about. If someone's telling you to go to plan 2 to plan 3, go back to the original question. Is this really my best interest? And if you're not sure, you want to stop right there, find somebody else. The reason I'm telling you guys this is because I see it happen all the time. I don't want you guys to be the next victim of moving from plan 2 to plan 3, or trusting an advisor and having all your money put into some high cost variable annuity that you didn't really need in the first place. And if you need help managing the assets in your plan 3 or DCP, I have a subscription service at a low cost in the description below. You can learn more about. Hope this is helpful. I'll see you guys all next week. And remember that your future depends on what you do today.